Well, let's talk about innovation in SMEs, in the SMEs industry, and of course, how this critical segment of the Kenyan economy, can tap innovation, to remain relevant, to remain up to date, and of course, to prosper, because we know for sure there is absolutely no economy called Kenya without SMEs. Because figure it this way, 80% of Kenyan workforce, some people will tell you 90%, 80% of the Kenyan workforce, they derive their daily bread from the SME sector. And the Kenyan industry or the Kenyan economy, about 90% of Kenyan businesses would be classified as in the category of MSME. So that is an economy, that's a sector that you are playing with and you are talking about. And so all efforts are supposed to be geared towards ensuring that the healthy sustainability of this critical sector, and our policies should all be geared towards ensuring that this critical segment or sector of our economy is supported by all means. And that's what we want to discuss this morning. I'm joined by Elsie Birech. She is the Advertising, Innovation Manager at Eskimi, which is a programmatic advertising platform. Big names, big titles. She's going to help us understand what exactly are we talking about here. Eskimi, programmatic advertising platform. Swanky titles. What are we talking about?
Okay, so Eskimi is an ad tech platform that's specializing in helping small customers and also large customers to be able to reach their target audiences when they're browsing across different sites and apps online. So you're browsing on a site like CNN, and you're able to serve like targeted ads to that particular person who's just reading like that news on CNN or
KBC or KBC.
Exactly, or KBC, or even an app like Truecaller. Yeah.
So that's what you do?
Yes.
How do you do that, without invading, customer privacy?
Okay, so first we are very GDPR compliant. Our company is headquartered in Europe, and we comply to all the terms and conditions under GDPR. So ideally is we're not able to target like you in person, but like we have anonymous profiles. So we've profiled users, and we have a reach of 1.5 billion in the entire world. And these are anonymous profiles. We don't use any information that can identify a user, like a phone number or email. But we just look at your browsing, behavioral patterns online, and then we say you like reading a lot about sports, we classify you as a user interested in sports. You like reading a lot about business, we classify you as a user interested in business. So that's basically how we do it. Of course, using cookies, we have so many data collection points. Cookies is one of them.
And this can well be explained by this fact, and I want to try and bring it down, to as low as it can get. Let me help you understand this. I mean, have you ever, for example, you want to buy, let's say what? You want the best burger in town, or pizza, or even arrowroot. So you browse, and then the next time when you try to browse the best burgers in town, you get like 50 sites, 50 companies, offering, burger sites. I mean, that is the role of companies like Eskimi. I mean, they track your online movement, they track your online usage, and then they come up with the products that are customized to suit your needs. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did. And
didn't you
really
clap for me?
Explained it well.
No, of course you don't have to. Let me help us then understand these. Why is it critical for SMEs to integrate IT skills, IT platforms in their day-to-day operations?
Okay, so when you look at how the world has changed, especially, with COVID, it has actually revolutionized like how businesses operate. Like we saw many businesses go online. Like we've seen like the growth in terms of internet penetration, and people are spending a lot of their time online. So for businesses, or rather for SMEs, this presents an opportunity for them to be able to reach their target audiences at the right time and at the right place. with the right message. So that's what exactly like, a platform like Eskimi, or rather like just programmatic advertising in general, comes quite in handy for SMEs, because people are spending a lot of their time online. You're stuck on traffic, you're online. Right now we have what we call like micro moments. When I want to book a hotel, the first place I turn to is Google, right? You just go online, like hotels in Nairobi. When you want to fix, you're in the house, like you want to fix something, and the first place you'll go to is either YouTube or Google, right? So when you look at our like how we sort like solutions to our problems, the first place we turn to is online, and this is where people spend most of their time. And platforms such as Google advertising, paid ads advertising, Eskimi, Facebook, they come quite in handy for small businesses to be able to reach the right audience at the right time, at the right place, with the right message.
You see, and I was just I've seen data being thrown around that about 70% of Kenyan SMEs will not survive beyond their 5th anniversary. And this is because of multiplication of issues, multiple issues, from lack of integration when it comes to IT, lack of innovation, capital challenges and so much. Is it possible for today's SMEs to survive without integrating innovation and IT platforms in their day-to-day operations?
I would say like it's really, digital or innovation is really quite critical for small businesses, especially during these times. With the disruption of technology, you've seen like what the pandemic did. You're very right with those statistics about, businesses not being able to see their 5th anniversary. But the good thing is now we have like innovation platforms, we have like digital platforms that come quite in handy for these SMEs to be able to leverage on. And it's a key component for any SMEs to be able to survive. Remember, this is a world of competition. Like a small business is competing, with like a large business, some huge corporate, and we are all like targeting like the same audience. Like I'll give you a good example, like say a telco is competing with that mama mboga for the same audience. The telco wants them to buy airtime, the mama mboga wants them to buy their product as well, right? So what distinguishes you? So the beauty about innovation, it gives all of you a level play field. It doesn't matter whether you're big or small, it gives all of you a level play field. And we've seen that businesses who leverage on innovation, actually, they survive. So that's the thing. If you leverage on innovation, as long as you are able to evolve quite fast, they'll be able to survive. Yeah.
You see, and I, like the fact that, you have brought about, a pragmatic example here of Mama Mboga. And, you can't talk about Kenya without talking about Wanjiku and Mama Mboga and so much. But can Mama Mboga, integrate IT and innovation in their Mboga business? Is it possible? Yes.
How? First, they can do like online deliveries, like remember, like, their target audience are still, these busy people in Nairobi. They don't have time to go to the markets, and then like they can use that as they can bridge that gap of doing like online deliveries to their homes, and they can use platform even such as WhatsApp. Like nowadays, everyone like there's a good rate of smartphone penetration, and we've seen businesses leveraging on even WhatsApp status to just sell, their products or services. And sometimes, like you're busy, and then you remember, like, oh, there was this Mama Mboga had posted, like they can do like this online delivery, right? So you just give them a call, and then they can bring them to their house. So that's the beauty about what I really like about innovation and digital is that, like, it doesn't matter how small you are. It doesn't matter even if you're a mama fua. I've seen people who have revolutionized these mama fuas. They've come up like with an app. When you're looking for someone to do your laundry over the weekends, you can just like reach them out using an app. So that's one of the examples of how.
So even these days we have Mama Fua.
Yes.
Because we are used to Mama Mboga.
There's an app called Mama Fua.
So maybe the next thing we're going to have is Mama Pika.
Exactly.
Well, you can have a group of women, offering services of coming to your house and cooking for you.
Exactly.
And I like the fact that you've talked about social media sites, that people they know so much. You know, you're talking about Facebook, you're talking about WhatsApp, Twitter, and so much. You know, and I've been, you know, I have played around with data from Google, where they say that majority of Kenyans on social media sites are on Facebook. And then they're followed by is it Twitter or WhatsApp?
So interestingly, Facebook has like a reach of 8 million. Twitter has a reach, you know, people think Twitter is like one of those leading platforms in terms of numbers, but it actually has like a reach of 3 million users. So we have Facebook at 8 million. Yeah. Then we have we have Twitter at 3 million. Yeah, WhatsApp really is huge, even than Facebook in terms of numbers. And then we now have these people who are browsing across different sites and apps. That's where Eskimi comes in. And in Kenya, Eskimi, we have a reach of 19 million users.
19 million
yes.
users. I mean, let's put it into perspective. I mean, you have about 15 million smartphones, you know, in the hands of Kenyans. And out of these 15 million smartphones, I mean, you have about 13 million with WhatsApp platform. Help a mama mboga who is listening to you, how they can make or how they can utilize that platform, you know, to deepen their business and, of course, to ensure they make more profit.
Great. So yeah, so for a mama mboga, like they can use like
mama fua.
Yeah, they can use like a platform like WhatsApp to be able to increase their sales. That is usually like the major goal for most of these businesses, to be able to increase their sales. Also to just create, you know, brand awareness for people to know about your product or service, what you're offering, and also to try to be able to like lead people or to drive footfall traffic to their stores, like to their physical stores, if they have like a physical store. I have seen people who don't even have like physical stores. They purely operate online. Their businesses are purely online and they're thriving. They're really doing quite great.
And one of them probably would be like Jumia, for example, or Kilimall, you know, whereby, you know, their shops are online. The only brick and mortar business they have is the collection center, or what do they call the experience center. So how comes we are yet to see, and especially, you know, the older generation, and I know the younger generation in Kenya, you know, has somehow taken up, you know, online marketing, online sales. But how do we ensure that we also do not leave behind, you know, the mama mbogas, you know, at the micro level?
I think we need to do a lot of emancipation in terms of like training for this particular segment, because I think what is lacking here is knowledge gap. Like, and we're already doing this, like as platforms like Eskimi, we're doing trainings for small businesses. I've seen also Facebook, they're doing trainings, and also even offering like support in terms of monetary, right? So we are providing like this support to be able to equip them with the necessary skills and knowledge to be able to effectively utilize like these digital platforms to grow their businesses.
And you see, in a country like Kenya, you know, whereby we talk about almost 70% of the population, you know, being people below the age of 45. So that is quite a fertile ground, you know, for people to integrate IT, to integrate online marketing, you know, for their businesses. But you still have people who prefer, you know, the door-to-door marketing mode, you know, the open-air, you know, sales styles. Is it that we are yet to understand what really is the potential of, you know, social media platforms, IT platforms, you know, in pushing our sales?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned like there's knowledge gap here, and also maybe, yeah, they have an idea they can do this, but they don't actually know how to be able to do it. So with trainings, with the necessary trainings, with the necessary equipment of knowledge, I'm sure like SMEs should be able to thrive if they have like a better understanding of how they can do, or rather how they can utilize these platforms to increase their sales. Because the first thing is for them to be able to identify, like you see, what is their goal, what would they really want to achieve. So with the goal and with the right audiences also, they should be able to define like their target audience. For example, like a mama fua who operates just say in Westlands region, right, should be able to just target people living in Westlands only. Yeah, so for them to be able to understand how they can do that, this is going to really help them a great deal in terms of increasing their sales, increasing their brand awareness, and be able to drive footfall traffic if they have like physical stores, like I mentioned.
And you know, the fact that you're the co-founder of Young Kenyans in Tech, you know, is a fact that you know, we are talking to the right person, you know, who is at the forefront of championing you know, Kenyans, you know, to join the IT platforms. But let me hear from you. And I know you know, about 2 weeks ago we had a conversation here how to bring more young girls and women into the IT sector. What from your interaction with young girls and women, how best do you think this can be achieved?
First is through you know, creating awareness for the endless possibilities that is there in the tech space for these young women and girls. And we've actually seen quite a huge increase in terms of, you know, girls who even pursue courses in STEM, which when you look back like a few years ago, like the number was quite minimal, but right now we've seen like an increase in terms of like girls who are pursuing like STEM courses, girls who are creating like startups. Like there's so many, like in our organization, like in our community rather, the Young Kenyans in Tech, like we have quite some phenomenal women who are doing quite great. Like they've created like their own business initiatives, their own startups. They've even gotten funding. Like a good example is Kwara, and she's one of our members in the Young Kenyans in Tech, and she's really doing quite great. So yeah, so in terms of just creating this awareness, we should be able to like pull in more girls and women in the digital space. Yeah, and also supporting them from a funding perspective, because it's an interesting conversation the other day that why is it that the solution for young businesses all the time is trainings, right? Or rather, you know, just trainings like from platforms like us. But yeah, so we've seen like Facebook, for example, they've come up like the other day when we were celebrating Women's Day, like they've come up with not just trainings but also like young businesses, they can get like funding, they can get support from a funding perspective. Yeah.
And it's good that you have brought about the issue of funding, because you know, when you talk to SMEs, you know, one of their biggest challenges is of course, you know, access to capital. Yeah. Are there funding opportunities that you know, SMEs can access through various IT platforms?
Yes, they are, and I also think like maybe some people don't have like the knowledge about it. Like they can actually get some funding, because I've seen like this is not. It's a platform called Market Force. They're like Kenyans, the founders are Kenyans, 2 Kenyans, and they've been able to raise like 3 rounds of funding, you know, from pre-seed to where they are like right now. They've been able to raise like three rounds of funding. So I think what also we need to like create, or rather teach these SMEs that there are avenues for funding, and we need to show them how to raise fundings, because we've seen like great platforms like that have grown quite big just because of funding. Like even Jumia is one of them actually, and I know small businesses, if they get the right access to funding, they can be able to grow. Yeah. And
you're also a very good example, because you know, for your undergrads, you did you wanted to be a teacher, right?
Exactly. I'm actually a teacher.
You're actually,
you know, once a teacher, always a teacher.
And then when you proceeded to do your master's, I mean, you decided to venture into the world of IT. But you definitely know for sure that you know, this sector is heavily skewed towards men, you know, whereby almost 70% of participants in the IT sector are men, or boys, if you like it. So what are you doing, because of the platform that now you have, you know, to ensure that you encourage more women and more girls, you know, to join the spectrum?
Yeah, so we have such communities such as women in tech, women in digital, and you know, just to ensure that we're able to teach women and give them a platform to be able to break the bias. Because like I like how you said it, like, you know, 70% of men. Yeah, so this is what you're trying to encourage women to break the bias, like in the digital space, that this is not just a space for men, like there are opportunities. And we even have like platforms that do exclusive funding just for women. Like I like what Zuri Foundation did, like just the other day they had like awards for women, and celebrating women who are doing like amazing stuff like in different fields. And this is one way in which like such foundations are supporting women to be able to break the bias. Yeah.
But you see, the problem is that you know, most of these initiatives are concentrated around Nairobi, around the big towns, you know, of Kisumu, of Mombasa. How do we take this message beyond, you know, the boundaries of big towns and cities in Kenya?
One is incorporating these like right from, you know, from schools, from primary level, secondary level, like doing that penetration like to the local areas to be able to empower women, empower girls who are like from a very young age, and using like we have like so many role models actually like in the tech space that women can look up to, and by using like these people to be able to reach out to girls from a very young age, from regardless of where they come from.
You realize that, I mean, you're in a sector whereby it will be considered to be a privilege, you know, where you are, because you know, when you look at statistics from the International Telecommunication Union, they will tell you that 50% of women are offline. They are not on any IT platform. And you see, if you're talking about the current global population of about 7.35 billion people, so you're talking about more than 3.7 billion people are offline. This is such a critical market that cannot afford to be left behind. So from your experience, how then do we tap into the 50% of the global population that is still offline?
I'll still go back, you know, to trainings. Because actually that's usually like, you know, the easiest way in terms of like, you know, creating empowerment and helping people understand like what they are missing out, or rather the gaps that they are missing out. Like just yesterday, there's this lady, she's called Kwamboka. She normally sells like chipomwitu, and she, due to tough economic times,
sells what?
She sells chips. We call it chipomwitu, right? Yeah.
I know her. She's Evelyn Kwamboka.
Yeah, Evelyn Kwamboka, exactly.
Yes.
And just the other day she was like, she had to close her business due to tough economic times. And I really like.
Was it true? Or I thought maybe it was just a stunt.
You know, I can't tell, but the truth is we are all feeling the pinch with the tough economic times, right? And one of the things I really liked about this lady, like what she's doing is, I think she's the first person from like this business, this industry, like to be able to acquire customers online. Like she's been quite good in terms of creating like awareness for a business. And I feel like if we can go down to the roots, to the villages, and be able to like train these women, they should be able to they should be able to have a better understanding of how they can be able to grow their businesses online.
Very good. Yeah. I mean, I want you to hold your thoughts because we should be coming back, but we want to go to the city of Mombasa. So we continue our conversation here in studio. If you're just joining us, man, oh man, you've missed a lot, because we're in the company of Elsie Birech. She is the Advertising Innovation Manager at Eskimi, which is a programmatic advertising platform. We did explain what is that. Yeah, I'm sorry if you missed it, but let's come back to Elsie. Elsie, tell me this. I mean, I know you develop, you know, your adverts, you know, for targeted, you know, clientele. But how do you get to know that, or how do you measure your success?
Great. So one of the beauty also about digital is the fact that everything is measurable. Like you're able to know like how many people saw my ads, how many people clicked on my ads, how many people even converted from my ads. Like for example, if it's Jumia, for instance, they can be able to tell like how many sales they made from like a certain platform. So everything in digital space is measurable. You're able to see everything in real time. Like you run a campaign today, you're able to see like how many people have you reached, how many people clicked and they came to your website, or even how many people clicked and called your businesses, or you can still track footfall traffic, like how many people saw my ads and they came to the physical store. So that is the beauty about digital advertising. Like everything is measurable. You have a dashboard that is visible and in real time.
I know, advertising is a major component of spending in any organization, and I know advertising is quite expensive. Do you see a situation whereby these IT platforms or these targeted adverts, will overtake the conventional way of advertising of billboards, newspapers, and so much?
Yeah, so when you look at the programmatic advertising trends, like year on year, it's actually been growing. Like people are moving to automated ways of buying media, as opposed to just running like ads like from the conventional ways. And one of the key things why they're doing that is because everything is measurable. And you mentioned that advertising is expensive, but I would want to challenge that and say that advertising is quite efficient and not necessarily expensive. Yeah, because
well, efficient it is, but it will cost you top dollar, to reach a bigger market, right?
There are platforms that you don't necessarily have to invest like a lot of money. Like for small businesses, they can use ways such as search engine optimization to be able to rank freely. Search engine optimization to be able to rank like at the top of Google search results. So when you go to Google and you search for any product or service, like there's usually an order in how the results appear, right? So this is due to what we call search engine optimization. And
how many people know how to make good use of search engine optimization?
So this is where there's a gap, like in terms of knowledge, but then we are doing like a lot of trainings, like I mentioned, to be able to empower these small businesses with the necessary skills and knowledge to be able to effectively do that. So SEO
for
is
a moment,
free.
let's turn this into a classroom and try to empower somebody who is watching this program. How do they do that exactly?
So one of the ways in optimizing your website to be able to rank like highly on Google is when you have say a website. So you need to use the right keywords, so that when someone is searching, say, for digital marketing training in Kenya, right? And I am offering that service of digital marketing training. So you're able to rank highly. That means I'll need to use the right keywords in the title of my website. I'll be able to use
what,
the
for
right,
example?
like now the keywords here being digital marketing training, because that is my key service, right? So I put that as a title of my website. The thing which has brands, we are normally obsessed with our business names. So you create a website, you want to call it the name of your business. But ideally, you should call your website the name of the service you're offering, because when people are looking for you, they don't know you as the name of your business, but they know that they're looking for that service or product that you have. So from a SEO perspective, you need...
So if, for example, you're a Mama Mboga, or Mama Fua, as you call them, or Mama Pika, instead of giving yourself such a fancy name, you be simple, and then if you're in Boga business, you put some Boga somewhere.
Yeah, you could still have your brand name, but then the title of your website should read the service you're offering, like Mama Fua as the title of the website.
Like you can have
so that when
Elsie Fua services.
Exactly.
Or O'Brien Pika services.
Yes.
So that when I go to the search engine, when I type Pika, or Mama Boga, my name will be up there.
It ranks among the top. So usually keywords is one of the best ways in how you can utilize search engine optimization. The other way is to be able to content. Content is key in digital. We normally say content is king, actually. So in how you structure the content on your website, so if you're talking about a particular product or service, then when someone searches for that product or service, it should be able to lead them to that exact page that you're talking about, say, Mama Fua services. I shouldn't click on a site expecting Mama Fua services only to get that you're selling chocolates, because I will definitely drop off from that site, and it will influence part of your ranking. The other way is to make your website quite mobile friendly, because a lot of people are accessing the internet using mobile. 83% of users who are online, they are using their mobile phones. So you need to make your websites mobile friendly. You need to make your websites to be, in terms of speed, to be quite fast. They should be able to load faster on mobile. And there's
a way you can do that?
Yes.
How can you do that?
So there are tools online, like there are tools online that you can use to optimize your websites to be able to be mobile friendly. You can even check, like, is your site mobile friendly? Is your site, does your site load faster? Then the other thing is, one of the key things that Google is looking at the moment in terms of ranking is the security. So your website needs to be secure, especially if you're an e-commerce SME platform. You are, because of transactions and everything, like, your website has to be secure. So that's one of the things. And then also one of the things Google looks at is like traffic, like how many people like come to your website. So the higher your traffic, then the higher the way you will rank on Google searches. Yeah.
And those are some of the ways that you can use to influence, your ranking, on search engine sites. Yes. Because in the interest of time, I mean, we still have, some few minutes. I want you to talk to SMEs and drive in this whole point of why the ICT platform is critical for their survival and for their expansion as business.
Okay, so let me talk to the SMEs here. Like, one of the key components of ensuring that your business is key, especially in digital, you need to ensure that you have the right goals, you're reaching the right audiences, you're tracking the right metrics, and you're using the right platforms. Some of the platforms that you can use, one I've mentioned is search engine optimization. You can use social platforms like Facebook, like WhatsApp, to be able to grow your businesses. You can also leverage on a platform like paid ads, like programmatic advertising, which is display ads, where Eskimi comes in. And you can also use like email marketing. You can also use WhatsApp marketing, and you can use influencer marketing. So as an SME, there are quite like some key platforms that you don't want to miss to be able to grow your businesses.
Very good. Anything else do we need to hear from Elsie?
Not really. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Elsie, thank you very much indeed for finding time to be with us here, and of course taking through various aspects of programmatic advertising, and of course how ICT is critical in the SMEs industry.
Thank you.
We'll be getting back to you, because this is an ongoing concern for many businesses. So whenever we call you, please show up.
Of course, I will.
Thank you very much, Birech.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, our conversation has been around, how SMEs can integrate ICT and, of course, innovation in their day-to-day running. Because, as we mentioned earlier on, about 7% of Kenyan SMEs will not celebrate their 5th anniversary because they'll close shop. And one of the reasons is because they don't have a proper bookkeeping the solutions. They also have problems with the capital and, of course, marketing skills. These are some of the challenges, and of course, there are many of them. Birech, Elsie has been very gracious to us, to SMEs, and of course, you have had so much from her. My name is Kimani. Can you just imagine, we've been here for the last almost 2 hours now, but we have to come to a close. We started with a coffee conversation, very interesting, and we concluded that we need to start consuming our own coffee. That's right. And we have brought this conversation to an end by empowering our SMEs and, of course, showing them the importance of integrating ICT and innovation in their business. It can't get better than this, I promise you. My name is Kimani. Thank you very much. This has been Biz Check. Remember, Kurunzi is coming up next. For me and the rest of the business team, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.